Well done. He's thinking about that horse. Oh boy.
How did they come up? Hey, what he said, hey, you can't park there. And the guy just comes up and just punches your horse.
At this point, it's got to be the intro to this episode.
It's gotta be. Oh my God.
For those of you at home, there's a scene from a very classic comedy movie called Blazing Saddles. And in the scene, there's a part where the villain, the bad guy of the town, rolls in and he parks his horse in front of a saloon. And then this like old man is riding on a horse and he's like, "Hey, you can't park that horse there." And then Mongo, the bad guy, proceeds to punch the horse in the face. And I'm going to play the clip. Here we go.
Hey, you can't park that animal over there. It's illegal.
Oh boy. That horse is a great actor. That's a great actor.
You think he just pulled on the reins?
I have no idea. That horse took it like a champ. Let's start the show. Welcome to PODZILLA. It's a digital discourse in pop culture. I am your co-host on this journey through lights and magic, and my name is David.
And my name is Braden.
And we are back once again. We're going to talk about some really cool things. Specifically, we're going to dive into our personal picks for movies that we watch and we think you should watch.
Yeah.
On a sick day or on a rainy day. Totally. And we're also going to throw in our personal most rewatchable movies that are just like our top favorite movies.
Yes.
Now you had kind of a theory behind your picking of these, of these movies. What were your prerequisites?
Well, first off, my sick day movies are probably going to be a whole lot different than yours.
Why is that?
Whenever I'm sick, I get kind of sad. I don't want to stay that way.
You want to stay that way.
Like, let me like fester in my like sadness. So I watch like sad movies and like
that's weird. That's
like dark movies.
I'm like the opposite.
Yeah, most people would be.
Well, I'm not necessarily the opposite as much as when I'm sick. For me, I watch like nostalgic movies because I think the rule on a sick day is you have to watch a movie that you're willing to fall asleep watching.
Yeah,
you have to watch a movie that you're willing to potentially get up and go to the bathroom or whatever you have to do, and the movie can keep rolling. Like it can't be whatever your sick day movie is. I feel like the general rule is that it has to be like unconsequential if you walk away from it, if that makes sense. That's my theory.
Right. My theory is the exact opposite. Like whenever I'm sick, I'm just laying on the couch, right? Whether it be like a stomach bug or the flu or whatever. I like to see people who have it worse off than me.
Oh my God. Okay.
Like the last time
so
I was
you watch
sick,
like Schindler's List or something?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't while I was sick.
But you would.
But movies like that, absolutely. Absolutely. Last time I was sick, I had the flu. Not only did I have the flu, but all my friends were out of town. Literally all of them.
Right.
And my wife was out of town, and I had the flu. So I just sat on the couch and watched a bunch of sad movies. Mm-hmm. But then whenever I get too sad, I have to like drown myself in these movies, and then I will like be on the upswing. Like the third day of being sick, I'll start watching funny movies. and then that would like improve my.
Do you
mood.
think that your like the endorphins in your body and in your mind, that if you would like start out watching like fun movies, that you might feel better sooner?
I think I'd feel worse. I've got to sweat it out.
You got to sweat it out with
sweat
some
it out,
sad,
cry it out,
some
whatever
sad stuff.
Not only just sad movies. I don't specifically. I watch like serious movies.
Yeah,
because that's when I'm like, even if I have the stomach bug or something like that, and I'm constantly going to the bathroom, I'll pause it because that's the one time where like I really don't care who texts me or calls me.
Sure,
I'm just gonna like throw my phone in the bedroom, go to the movie room, go to the bedroom or the living room, and just watch a movie. I never ever lay in bed sick ever.
Right.
I'll make my couch my bed.
Right.
Like whenever I had the flu and Sydney wasn't home, I literally stayed on the couch for 5 days straight.
Do you have like whenever you're sick, do you have like certain things that you do when you're sick that you don't normally do? Like just as a person, not even specifically movie related, but just you. Like, do you have any tells that you're sick?
Oh, I don't know. Do you? Like,
Yes.
What's an example of that?
Well, whenever I'm sick, Heather knows that I'm sick because I always wear a hoodie and I always
that's
have
true.
the
Yeah.
hood up
Yep.
and I always have it
Yep.
pulled.
Yep. Last
Like
week,
to where like all you can see is this much of my face. Every time I'm sick, I put on a hoodie, I pull the hood up,
do the
and
same.
I pull it tight.
I do the same minus the pulling it tight. But I'll wear a hoodie and put the hood on because I want. It's almost therapeutic because you look on the outside the way you feel on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just like don't talk to me, don't hug me, don't touch me. Just like let me. I enter a mindset whenever I'm sick where I'm just like the world is against me and I am sad. Let me be sad.
Really, it's my body is attacking me.
Right, that's all it is. But in my mind, it's like it's that's it.
Right.
I'm always sad. Don't touch me. Like I like to sit in my sadness. I don't know why.
I don't know why. There's got to be a medical term for that.
I'm sure messed up or something, but I always like. Well, here's the thing. I always started off because I always think that I'll have the definitive answer, which is better, Goodfellas or The Godfather. So I'll watch.
Were you asking me which is better?
No.
Oh.
Because my personal pick is Goodfellas.
Uh-huh.
Any day of the week, I'll say Goodfellas. But when I'm sick, for some reason, I can't decide. And I'll watch the first two Godfather movies and Goodfellas day one.
So those are your first two picks for
Yes.
a sick day movie.
Like, I've got a fever. I'm staying home from work. If I like call out of work, I'm like, hey, I'm not coming in. I'll immediately put in The Godfather.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I'll watch it, and I'll watch part 2, and then I'll do Goodfellas.
But see, those are movies that when I put those movies on, I want to watch them. I don't want to be sick when I watch them because then you're playing a dangerous game. Like I don't want to fall asleep watching Goodfellas.
That's true. Normally, I can tell if I can't make it through a 2.5-hour movie. Like with Godfather and Goodfellas, they're almost 3 hours apiece.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll put on like a different movie. There's a difference to me when I'm like that sick and I know I can't make it through a movie. I'll put on whatever. I'll put on a Netflix show, like something that doesn't even count as I'm watching it. But whenever I'm sick and I want to like sit in my sickness and be sad, then I'll like tee it up for Goodfellas and I'll start it off with the Mafia. Like I'll watch that. Which aren't sad per se, but they're serious, right?
Yeah, sure.
And there's a lot of like drama to them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think kicks off my sickness is like drama.
I'm like almost the complete opposite. Because
I think most people would be. I don't know why I'm like that.
you like victimizing yourself.
I do, but I won't complain per se. Like I won't be just texting my wife like, "Man, I feel so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Woe is me."
Mm-hmm.
I'll internalize those thoughts, and then to myself I'll say, "Man, I'm so sick. Woe is me."
But you express them externally because then your wife comes in and you're just loathing and watching,
Yeah. She's like, "Braden, you're so sweaty. Take off your hoodie." I'm like, "Go away!
Don't try to fix me. I'm broken." If you called, I couldn't tell you why my first picks are my first picks.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you why. But every time I'm sick, and it might be from like when I was from childhood, I don't know.
Yeah.
Every time I'm sick, Because you have the moments before you're sick where you're like starting to feel sick, but then you have the day where you're actually
You wake up and you're like, oh man, I'm sick.
yeah, and then you just take advantage of it. You know,
Right,
like
yes.
I'm not going anywhere,
Mm-hmm.
taking full advantage of the situation.
Absolutely, yeah.
I similar, I guess, in theme to The Godfather and Goodfellas. My first two picks are Scooby-Doo and Scooby-Doo 2: Monsters Unleashed. Those are my sick day movies, 100%. And
To me, I'll always skip the first Scooby-Doo. I'll go straight to Monsters Unleashed.
no, I won't.
Really?
No, yeah. I remember seeing that movie in the theaters. I was stoked about it. I used to be obsessed with Scooby-Doo,
Yeah.
and I don't know. That movie just does something for me.
The first one?
Yeah, both of them. Back to back.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
To me personally,
And-
I don't care if I ever see the first Scooby-Doo ever again. But Scooby-Doo 2: Monsters Unleashed, now that's a movie. To me personally.
They're both James Gunn.
I mean, yeah, but Scooby-Doo 2 is just a
but for some reason
masterpiece.
those are my go-tos. I think it's all of the things that I said before. I've seen those movies. You know, there's nothing special about them. There's nothing in that movie that I would be remiss if I missed.
I would. There's one scene in particular.
Which
Do you remember? It's in the climax of the movie, so spoilers for Scooby-Doo 2: Monsters Unleashed.
Mhm.
Do you remember at the very end, whenever they're fighting, it's like, remember the big black gooey monster?
Yeah,
with the
yeah,
one
the
eye?
tar monster.
Yeah. Do you remember when Scooby-Doo freezes him with a fire extinguisher,
Yeah.
and then he
he
rides the
smashes
fire
through
extinguisher like a skateboard,
Uh-huh.
but he kicks off the cap of it
Oh,
and
yeah.
smashes through
Oh,
him?
I remember.
If I was getting sick during that, bro, game over.
Game over. I thought
Yeah.
you were gonna say the scene where Shaggy drinks that potion and has like a sexy girl body.
Sexy girl body.
Like, I would hate to miss that scene. I love that scene.
It's my wallpaper.
Yeah, that's my screensaver on my computer.
That's my Tinder ID.
No, but I don't know why the Scooby-Doo movies are for
That's
some
fun.
reason are like
That's fun.
sick day movies for me. I could
it's
fall asleep. I could care less if I miss something. They're
Yeah.
just kind of on.
Dang,
They're
I want to watch
entertaining.
Scooby-Doo 2 again. Is it on Netflix?
I don't think it is.
I would
think
love
it
to
is.
watch Scooby-Doo 2.
And I suspect that the reason that's always my choice now is because when I was like a kid, I guess at some point, or I really, like probably 5th or 6th grade or something, I had like the DVD of both movies like in a set. And I'm pretty sure, and I had like a little TV in my room with a little DVD player. This is before streaming, obviously, for
Right.
us. And I think when I was sick, I had that movie and I had the DVD player, and that was just the movie that I played, you know? So those are my personal first two picks. What other picks did you have for
Well,
sick day
is,
movies?
I'm sorry I was kind of checked out for that last bit, but Sydney, I'm also sorry to you because I just bought Scooby-Doo 2 Unleashed on Blu-ray.
For Sydney's, it's a birthday present, Christmas present.
Sorry, Sydney. Anyways, so all right.
You don't have it?
I don't have it. I don't have Scooby-Doo.
You don't have the first one though.
I don't
You can't
care.
have the second one.
Well,
without
technically,
the
what I
first
just
one.
bought for $6.99 on Amazon, if you want it,
It's both.
it's both on Blu-ray for $6.99. What a slam dunk!
That is a slam dunk.
Yeah,
Worth every
I'm not,
penny.
So I'm not sorry because it was $7.
Yeah. I mean, it was $3.50.
It was yeah, technically. So after my whole Mafia phase, I'll immediately go into a war movie phase
Mhm.
right off the bat.
Mhm.
I'll watch like Inglorious Bastards, Hacksaw Ridge, Saving Private Ryan,
Band of Brothers.
Band of Brothers. That's more of a commitment. I tried to do that last time I had the flu, actually,
Mhm.
but it's like 8 episodes. No, it's like 6 to 8 episodes. I can't.
Yeah, but
remember.
you don't care if you're gonna finish it. It's just.
I mean,
good
I
at
do for
first.
some reason. Whenever I'm sick, especially for some reason, I never just get like a 24-hour stomach flu, like stomach bug.
Mhm.
I get the flu, or I get something that like kicks me out for 3 to 5 days of work.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's always long. At least for the past 5 years, I've never had like a 24-hour stomach. Like I miss one day and I go back.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been like extended stretches on the couch, right? So I tried to do that last year whenever everybody was out of town. I tried to watch Band of Brothers, and it was too long. I couldn't.
But did you regret it?
Well, no, I didn't, because I watched the first 2 or 3, and they were great and sad and violent and what I needed. But I couldn't finish it because, like, I couldn't stay healthy long enough to finish it. So I watched all those war movies, and this doesn't mean just like World War I, World War II movies. I'm talking Braveheart. I'm talking Gladiator. Like, I guess technically Gladiator can be a war movie. It starts off and it's a war, but regardless, that's like my next phase that I go through. I'll go through like Mafia always starts it, whether it's always Godfather 1 and 2. It's always Goodfellas directly after that. But then if I wake up the next morning and I feel worse, I'm breaking out The Departed. I'm doing other Mafia things. But then it'll swiftly move into war movies where I like always watch. It's always Saving Private Ryan, and it's always Flyboys with James Franco.
Which isn't great.
Which isn't great, but I love it. I don't know why. I can't explain to you why I like Flyboys so much, but I do. You ever seen Flyboys?
Not since it came out.
Yeah, I don't know why I like it so much. I was fascinated with the fact that whenever Flyboys was released, I loved it so much I watched the bonus features. And it was the first World War I movie to come out in over 60 years.
Wow.
It was all World War II movies before that. So I was obsessed with it. And then there's an old movie I used to watch with my grandfather all the time called Sergeant York. I watch that all the time too, whenever I'm sick. Like I never like get home from work, put my keys on the wall. I'm like, hey, Sydney, you want to watch a good old war movie? Only when I'm sick. Yeah. And then I'm the most patriotic man you've ever met.
Amazing. I feel sick for my country.
What's yours?
Yeah, I tend to lean on the nostalgia side when I'm sick. I think when I'm sick, I like
Which
to...
I think is a good contrast, because if we were both doing nostalgic movies...
I think too, it's because there's just something warm about those like old movies that you wouldn't...
Yeah.
I tend to lean towards movies that I wouldn't normally watch, which so do you.
Yeah.
But I kind of lean towards movies, and similar to you in the fact that like I know the movie. You know, like I know I just know the movie, and I'm just watching it because I love it. I'll move into movies like childhood favorites of mine, which would be like Hook is one that I watch when I'm sick. Labyrinth is one that I watch when I'm sick, which are... Which are just like, I guess it's like a fantasy. Like I start getting into like watching like old like
Hook's a good
Spielberg with Hook, and then Henson with Labyrinth. It's like fantasy, adventure, like nostalgic. I guess Labyrinth was 80s and then Hook was 90s. Yeah. But just like
the thing is, like, I'm with you on Hook and everything like that. Man, Hook's a magical movie. But I wonder if, and I would love for anybody who like had the same experience as I did. Do you think that there's a cap to Henson? Because I feel like I missed it because I can't get connected with anything Henson. And I know he's like wonderful and like everything he did is just the best. But I just, for some reason, I can't get into it. Like Johnny, your brother, showed me Labyrinth for the first time. I was like, oh, cool. Yeah. But he was like singing all the songs and like talking about how they made the movie. I'm like, this is all really cool, but it's not for me. Yeah. Not that I hate it, but just that like I feel like I missed that love train. So do you think
I don't know. I mean, I don't know where the cutoff is. Yeah. Maybe you did have to be raised on it. I know plenty of people who weren't, who appreciate it just from like, and maybe if you rewatched it with like a different perspective, maybe you would enjoy it. Like maybe if you watched it from the perspective, like maybe if you watched it from the perspective of all of the like ingenuity and all of the, like the fact that all of it is practical effects and the fact that they were like pushing boundaries as far as creating costume characters and puppets and, you know, and still managing to tell a really captivating story. And like, I mean, they put like a puppet on a dog, you know what I'm saying? And like,
which one? I haven't seen it in like 6
You need
years.
to,
So
or you can. I'm not going to tell you to watch it because
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you didn't like it, you didn't like it, and that's fine. You're allowed to not like certain movies, you know.
Sure.
But
maybe I'll watch it again. I should watch it again.
But it is, if you watch, I think if you watch a movie like that, especially if you weren't raised on it, like my family especially was very much raised on Jim Henson movies and the like, whether it was, you know, because there's it's such a large pool of very specific stylistic approach to filmmaking and television in general, you know, like with any of those kind of franchises that are under that banner, whether it's Sesame Street or Fraggle Rock or The Muppet Show or any of the Muppet movies, like it's such a specific artistic endeavor to approach a film like that, you know,
Totally.
where you're building. I don't know. I think that you would appreciate it more now, especially even I'm sure since you watched that movie, you know, that was 5 years ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
And I'm sure now you've kind of
I've probably
even more so grown to appreciate the art of filmmaking versus just like entertain me. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
And for that reason, I think you would enjoy a movie like that just from the, I feel like you would almost have to watch any of those movies from the perspective of like appreciating the artistry of it all, you know, like the design of it all, the way that they actually made those characters and those puppets and those things function in a real space, like pre-CGI, you know, like.
So is that like your go-to Henson movie?
Labyrinth?
Yeah.
No, but it is like a go-to sick day movie.
Okay.
I mean, I think some of the best Henson movies would be like Muppet Christmas Carol is, I think, a Christmas masterpiece.
Really?
It's the best, in my opinion. A Muppet Christmas Carol is the best film adaptation of A Christmas Carol that there is.
Okay.
Personally.
Well, a little plot twist. What movie would you like to have seen redone, but as Muppets? Like any movie under the rainbow, but it has to be like remade as Muppets.
Well, I think the beauty of a lot of those kind of Muppet films that first came out is that they were all like novels.
Yeah.
Like you had Treasure Island and you had A Christmas Carol, like, and I think stuff like that kind of lends itself to like a fun approach of doing it with Muppets, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't know if I don't know if I would necessarily take a movie and turn it into a Muppet movie as much as another book. Okay.
Well, what's a book?
I mean,
it could be like as heavy, as violent, whatever. Or it could just be like, what if you could take like, you can't use this now, but what if you could take like The Wolf of Wall Street, PG it, and remake? Would you rather see Naughty Muppets, or would you rather see like a PG version of Wolf of Wall Street?
They tried to do Naughty Muppets with, and that was Brian Henson, Jim Henson's son.
Nothing against Brian, but I heard it was bad.
I never saw it either. I can't even remember the name of that movie.
I can't either.
But I don't want to see Naughty Muppets, but if I had to, I mean, it would be funny to see. I mean, it has to be an ensemble movie.
Yeah, it does.
They could almost do like an Ocean's 11 style movie, and it actually wouldn't.
That's pretty good. Like a heist, but with the Muppets.
It actually wouldn't be that bad.
That's true.
They kind of did that with there's a movie called Muppets in Space, which is kind of like, it's about Gonzo trying to figure out what he is because he's, you know, and it's actually shockingly got a lot of heart, but there's also some, you might like it actually.
I'll watch that.
It's pretty fun.
Because if there's ever a Muppet movie for me, it takes place in space.
Yeah, well, it doesn't take, you should watch it.
Okay.
It's pretty fun.
Okay, cool.
It's fun.
I'll watch.
It's
I'm
kind
sure
of
it's on
dated.
Disney Plus.
Maybe.
I'm sure
I don't
it is.
know.
I think
it's
they've
kind of
got,
like the
the
redheaded
Muppets.
stepchild of Muppet movies is
Really?
Muppets in Space.
Okay.
Are you gonna buy it on Blu-ray? check and see if it's on Disney Plus.
I'm sorry,
and then if it's not on Disney Plus, he's gonna buy Muppets from Muppets in Space on Blu-ray.
Cindy, I'm sorry.
And if you hate it, then I'll buy it from you.
Well, now I gotta see.
Because that's a Blu-ray that I don't personally own either.
Let's see. Hang on. I gotta log in. I'm never on this laptop. So we've got the Muppets, Muppets Now, Muppets Most Wanted, the Muppet Movie,
Muppet
Original,
Babies.
Treasure Island,
Muppet Treasure Island is
The Great
excellent.
Muppet Caper, The Christmas Carol. There's
Excellent.
no Muppet in Space.
Maybe just rent it on Amazon Prime. It might not be worth a Blu-ray purchase unless they're the same amount of dollars.
Here we go.
Is that movie even on Blu-ray?
Blu-ray. You have to specify nowadays. Godzilla versus Gijan. Why is that the first? Why is that the
Muppets
first-
in Space, I think is what the
Muppets in
movie's called.
Space.
Or Muppets from.
You can't buy it. It's not on DVD. It's not on anything.
Wow, it's elusive.
Oh no. You can watch it on Amazon Prime. Watch now free with ads.
Well, great.
I'm just gonna do that.
That seems like a win-win.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and I mean, I know that like the you're looking for like oh, I want to see the Muppets in a Tarantino film. Like,
yeah.
you know,
I mean,
or
I kind of
something like-
was. But
Give
the
me
thing
my
is-
wallet.
You could just
Yeah.
see like Kermit would be Bruce Willis and like Miss Piggy would be his little girlfriend, and she'd be like, I like the way you, I like the way
Why do
you
you have
stink.
a motorcycle?
I like the way you stink.
It's not a motorcycle. It's a hog. Zed's dead, baby. Zed's dead.
Who would be Samuel L. Jackson?
Oh.
Who would deliver that famous monologue?
For Fozzie Bear, of course.
I can't.
Ezekiel.
I don't even do a good Fozzie Bear impression, but
That's fun. But
Yeah.
no, Ocean's 11, like a heist Muppet movie would be
that would be
fun.
really interesting.
That'd be really fun.
I will say this. I'm not a fan of like the new Muppet movies, like the Jason
Okay.
Segel
Okay.
and there's nothing wrong with those movies, I don't think. I think they're fun, but like the Jason Segel, and then I didn't even see Muppets Most Wanted. But like the Muppets, which was Jason Segel and his brother Walter, who was a Muppet.
What do you mean?
You didn't see the movie?
He voiced a Muppet?
No. Like Jason Segel
Mm-hmm.
is in the movie as himself. Well, not as himself. His name is like Fred or something. And then he has a brother who is a Muppet.
I get it. In the
And-
movie. Fake
yeah.
brother.
Yeah, not his
Brother
real
on
brother.
screen.
Yeah, not his real
I was
brother in
like-
real life.
I was like, what do you
And then
mean?
like Amy Adams is his girlfriend.
Okay,
And then
yeah.
anyway, that movie wasn't great.
Okay.
And I don't think the show, like when they try to do the Muppets in like a documentary style, that didn't work either.
Yeah.
But you know, I don't know what it would take to make a good Muppets movie. I have a friend who we're gonna get on some sort of episode of Podzilla at some point who is like loves all things Muppets.
Cool.
He has a straight up, his name is Rob. I've told him like you need to be on my podcast, and he's already verbally committed. But yeah, he has a tattoo of Big Bird's feather on his arm. Like a yellow feather on his arm.
Okay.
And he owns one of Big Bird's original feathers, I'm pretty sure. And a replica Kermit the Frog.
I mean, that's a lot
Pretty
of Muppet
legendary.
stuff.
If you love it, you know.
Yeah, if you love it.
And he does, and I do too. I'm not that much of a fan, but I do really enjoy the artistry of all of those things.
Yeah,
So-
I can enjoy the artistry. Maybe before he comes on, should I stay like this and just be like, nah, the Muppets are fine, or
don't
should I
know.
like try to enjoy the Muppets?
I don't know.
I've never tried to enjoy the Muppets.
I think that you need to approach anything that you watch like that from the perspective of
Creativity.
and
Yeah.
the fact that thinking about how many people are like off camera that
Yeah.
are doing things,
Yeah.
you know, because you're not going to watch it from a childlike perspective of like, this is so entertaining, but I know you can at least watch it from a perspective of like, you can appreciate the artistry, especially of a movie like Labyrinth, which is more so of a kind of a dive into the spectacular and fantasy and stuff versus a Muppets movie, which is just kind of like a cheeky, like
Yeah.
lowbrow comedy,
Yeah.
goofy, pie in the face kind of stuff, you know?
Cool.
But you know, we say all that to say like movies in that general, and then Hook is just a great movie.
Yeah. Totally.
Which is, it's so crazy that Steven Spielberg, like one of his biggest regrets in life was making Hook. Like he hates that movie.
Really?
Yeah, like Steven Spielberg has gone on record saying that the only good thing in retrospect that he, the only good thing that came out of the movie Hook was him getting to work with Robin Williams. Besides that, he was like, that movie can like never see the light of day ever again. There's so much trouble that went into making that movie. Like that movie was expensive and like it was in like development limbo forever before it was even made.
Okay. Well, I can get something like that.
But at the same time, like
Rufio's
that was
my
one of
hero
those
forever.
childhood movies that I love.
That's a big one for me. I love Hook.
Yeah, Hook's
Hook.
excellent.
Yeah. So, yeah. Back to my sick day.
Yeah.
We are done with the Mafia. We're done with war movies.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna move on to some Stephen King. For some reason, I get into a big Stephen King kick.
Sure.
I've only recently started reading again, and so I'm reading a lot of Stephen King books because I like Stephen King's movies.
Yeah.
Like I'll always watch The Shining, and I'll watch It. One thing that like
his books are a different pill to swallow than his.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Stephen King hates The Shining. The movie.
I know he does, but I love The Shining.
Me too.
And I'm sure after I read the book, I'm sure I won't feel differently because I love movies way more than I love books.
Sure.
At least right now in my life, you know? And even if I love the book way more, like that, that movie's just a masterpiece, you know?
Yeah.
So, but I'll always go into Stephen King, and that's whenever we are on the upswing. Like it's day 3 of being sick. Day 1's Mafia, 2 is War, 3 Stephen King.
Yeah.
I always start kind of like with your It's and your Shinings and everything like that. But then whenever I'm like feeling better, I'll always start with one movie, and it's Stand By Me.
Mm-hmm.
I love Stand By Me so much.
Yeah.
And it's kind of my upswing movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because once I watch Stand By Me, then I'll move into like dumb comedies, right? I'll always go to a Seth Rogen movie like Pineapple Express or This Is the End, you know? But my upswing movie is always Stand By Me. I love Stand By Me so much. And it just kind of, I don't know, it brings me out of my funk and back into the real world. you know?
Yeah.
So that's always my upswing movie.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I necessarily have upswing movies. I think I just, I think my upswing movies are still in the nostalgic arena, but they're more, movies like E.T. or even like Galaxy Quest, which those aren't mutually similar, I suppose, but they're a little more sci-fi, which is which I've never really like been like, I'm gonna watch sci-fi movies, but those are generally Super 8.
Super 8's so good.
Yeah, like those
you
are
like
generally.
Super 8?
I love Super 8.
Bro, so many people I've like talked to movies about. Like there's a I try not to talk too much about movies, but if a conversation steers towards movies, most of the time whenever Super 8 comes up, people just generally don't love Super 8.
I don't
which
understand
I think is
why.
Madness. Like
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me.
I love Super 8.
Yeah.
From the kid actors.
It's
to
excellent.
The storytelling.
It's
I love
Super
it all.
8 is an excellent love letter to Steven Spielberg movies, Stand By Me.
Yeah.
Like ensemble child actor movies of the 80s, and it's a great. If I'll say this, if Super 8 didn't happen, Stranger Things never would have happened.
Totally. It kind of brought.
It was a
the bridge
forerunner
between,
for
like,
that stylistic.
E.T. and the Goonies, and then it was gone.
It was a
right?
forerunner for that stylistic type of movie that modern culture didn't know they needed until they got it.
Ooh.
And Super
Dang,
8
I
was a
wanna watch Super 8
massive
right now.
Super 8 was a massive success. Like, I don't care who you are, Super 8 was a massive success.
Do I have that movie? Oh yeah, it's right there.
Yeah, it's the only yellow one in the bunch.
Man.
So those are kind of my upswing movies are, your ETs. I'd even put Hook a little bit in that category. ETs, Hook, even movies like Super 8, they feel good, they're adventurous, they're kind of wonderful, fantastical, I suppose. Let's move on away from sick day movies and talk about rainy day movies, because rainy day movies You could argue that they're similar to sick day movies, but I wouldn't say they are.
Completely different picks for me.
Yeah, me too.
This is where I get more into your like sick day movies. That's whenever it's raining outside, I want to watch nostalgic movies for me, but also I really like watching old movies like The Karate Kid and Back to the Future.
So you consider 80s movies old movies?
You'd
say.
Yeah, because I don't regularly watch like old, as in like 50s and 60s movies. You know, I consider 70s and 80s the same genre, and I consider pretty much like it depends on the 90s movie. You know, like I consider Hook in a completely different playing field as like, I don't know, what's another 90s movie?
Angels in the Outfield.
No, that's in this literally the exact same playing field. Like, I mean, you got to think Shawshank Redemption came out in the 90s, and like that's where.
Well, let's say Hook and Schindler's List, because they're both Spielberg.
Hook and Schindler's List. Which one am I watching on a rainy day?
Yeah,
I mean, I'm gonna watch Hook because I'm never watching Schindler's List again.
Really?
I don't know.
That movie's. You couldn't say that. Truthfully,
no. But
it's a heavy movie, but it's one of the best movies ever made.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, from
you can't say this is one of the best movies ever made. I'll never watch it again.
I'm trying to think of another movie I'll never watch again. Schindler's List, I will definitely watch again, and I've seen it multiple times. I've seen it like 2 or 3 times.
Right.
Every time, it does shed a tear. I don't know why it didn't pop in my head when we were talking about like movies that have made me cry before.
Yeah.
Because that movie will. That's proof that you have a soul right there.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like, that movie's rough, but it's so good.
Absolutely.
But Hook for sure, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you agree? What's your?
Yeah, I mean, Hook was on my sick day movies, not my rainy day movies.
Yeah. What's a rainy day movie?
Rainy day movies for me tend to lean towards more of the thriller.
Oh. Okay.
The thriller. You could even I would say movies like Disturbia.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah.
Even like that movie that just recently came out, like Marrowbone. I could see myself watching that on a rainy day.
When's the last time you watched Disturbia, though? Is it? I mean,
it's been a minute, but that movie me and Heather were just talking about that movie the other day, and I was like, that's a good rainy day movie.
It's still a good movie.
It's great.
I wanted to make sure that if you haven't watched it lately, you should watch it again.
Yeah, and even on a rainy day, so even rainy day vibes for me will even go into old Hitchcock, The Birds.
Wow.
Yeah. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because it's like Twilight Zones could fall under like rainy day categories.
Yeah.
That's one vibe, right?
Okay.
That's like fall rainy day vibe.
Yeah.
And then you've got spring rainy day vibe.
They are very different.
Which is different.
Yeah.
Like fall rainy day vibe is like cloudy, it's kind of dark, it's hazy.
Vibes. Like I
love spooky vibes. I live for spooky vibes year round. Man. Spring is like it's
spooky
sunny
vibes
outside.
Year round. That's the motto of the show.
And spooky vibes year round. I live for it. I love it. Even under the spooky vibes, I would say like Shaun of the Dead.
Oh yeah, it counts.
That falls under those, and that's on my list as well. I'll also give rainy day movies Inglourious Bastards, Django Unchained, Hateful Eight. For me, those are rainy day movies.
Yeah.
Like I got nowhere to go.
There's a specific.
We're chilling
genre.
at home.
Honestly,
fireplace is on.
Fall rainy day vibes are spooky and violent.
Sure.
And like thrillers. You
yeah,
know?
and then spring. I'll give you some of my spring ones. Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Okay.
Into the Spider-Verse.
Ooh.
Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. That's kind of a fall one too.
For me.
It's both. Year round.
Harry Potter's
I'm Harry
year
Potter
round.
year round. Yeah, totally. I'd do spring. I would do like a Hot Fuzz versus a Shaun of the Dead.
Spring for me is kid movies. I'm watching like the Ninja Turtles. Specifically, one of my favorite Ninja Turtle movies is the animated one.
That's crazy to me because I don't care for that movie
really?
At all. Yeah.
I mean, I really like the first. I think Secret of the Ooze is. It's not as good as the first one, but it's really good.
Yeah.
But TMNT, I love that movie.
Yeah.
Like the one specifically titled TMNT. Mm-hmm. I love that.
I remember it. That's like that one never comes up in my mind as like
really.
No. Not
I
at
love
all.
that one. I don't know what. why I love that.
And
one
I
so
love
much,
Ninja Turtle. I'm very outspoken about loving
You
Ninja
are,
Turtles,
you
and I
are.
do love that movie. But it's not even on my like.
Like
If
your
I'm
radar.
watching a Ninja Turtles movie, it's one of the first two,
Uh-huh.
or it's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animated show that came on in the early 2000s, and then it's
the
the
white
90s.
eyes?
Yeah, and then it's the 90s cartoon Teenage Mutant Ninja
Yeah.
Turtles, and then after that, just give me an Eastman and Laird book, and I'll just
Okay.
read the comic books.
Okay.
But like the TMNT, I saw it. Like I remember seeing it in the theaters.
I just so happen to have it right here.
Oh yeah, pull
I
it.
don't know
pull
if
it out.
anybody.
It's
I feel
good.
like
It's
not-
good.
I
It's
feel like
fun.
It's not popular. If you
It's
haven't
not
seen
super
this one-
popular.
Here, yours might be tighter. If you haven't seen this one, bro, you should watch it. When's the last time you've seen it? Because it's not bad.
It's not. No, I agree. It's not. I don't think it's bad at all. And I remember like what year did this come out?
Like-
2007.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to have the video game. That video game was awesome too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So-
really like all the turtles in it, and that's pretty rare. Like there are
Yeah.
some adaptations that just get the turtles like
They get them wrong.
they get their basic descriptions right and everything, like their basic
Yeah.
everything right. But
But generally,
I really like everything about that movie.
that's great.
Which I haven't seen it in a couple years, and maybe the
Maybe it doesn't
animation
hold up as
doesn't-
much as you think.
especially the animation.
It
but-
probably doesn't.
But like that's up there. Any Ninja Turtle movie is up there. But the main ones are like the top two. It's Iron Giant all day,
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Neutron all day. Those are my top two. Like
Yeah.
all day. I think Iron Giant's a good fall one too.
Yeah. I have Iron Giant on my list, but we haven't gotten to that category yet.
Ooh.
Iron Giant fell under my personal most rewatchable list.
Which is fair. Totally fair.
Yeah.
Totally
That's Iron Giant is a great. Yeah, that's just a great year-round movie.
year round. Absolutely. Spring, summer, winter, fall. Doesn't
Mhm.
matter.
And I mean, we've talked about it on the show, and I would love to see if they got Brad Bird to come back, the original director,
Mm-hmm.
to recreate and direct a live-action Iron Giant,
Yes.
but like set in what is it, the 50s or
Yeah.
it's the 50s, right?
It's the 50s.
Like, man, I'd be all about that.
Yeah. With
I'd be
Jacob
all about
Tremblay?
that. Maybe, yeah. We already cast it. If you didn't watch that episode, definitely go back and which episode was that? Do you even remember? I don't remember. Maybe someone in the comments will remember.
It was in the title had the parentheses of
Something
an
Iron Giant.
Giant reboot or something
Yeah,
like that.
go back and watch that episode.
Totally. That's a fun one.
Yeah, I thought I remember liking this movie. I think the problem with this movie for me was at the time that this came out, I was a little too old for it.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm a couple years younger than you.
Yeah, like I was like
2 years
I was
younger
like
than
I was like 13, like just on my way into teen, and this wasn't like cool enough
which would make
at the
me
time. 11, 10,
Yeah,
11.
I was 10. If it's
Yeah.
2007, I'm 10.
Yeah.
And I was
So I was
for it.
13, you
Yeah.
know, and so that's probably where the disconnect is. This was like right on my way out. Even though I love Ninja Turtles, I was
Presently.
like kind
you
of
didn't
not.
grow up on it though.
I did grow up on Ninja Turtles.
No. You didn't.
I didn't grow up on this
one.
No,
Yeah.
I grew up on and
Like
you
the
kind of more
90s.
so cut your teeth on this one.
It was mainly the early 2000s TV show
and then
that one.
this.
Yeah.
Whereas mine was the
90s.
movies from the 90s and then the TV show.
Yeah.
So like as I was kind of phasing my interest, you know, differently, yours was like we kind of like bridged the gap on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles
Totally.
Saturday morning Fox Box television show.
Totally.
But yeah, I liked this movie. I didn't hate it at 13 years
Yeah.
old. I thought it was cool, but if I was choosing at 13 years old between this one and the 1990 movie, I was going to choose the 1990 movie, you know?
Yeah. There's only a couple things I remember about this movie, and it was one whenever they're like storming Winters was the bad guy.
Mhm.
They're just like storming his facility, and they're all running on top of foot soldiers' heads,
Yeah.
just like running on top of them, which
Totally.
is a lot of fun.
It
But
is,
the
yeah.
second one is at one point Winters, the bad guy, falls off like a high balcony or something.
Mhm.
And then April O'Neil goes, Winters. And then Michelangelo goes, looks more like fall to me. Classic.
Classic. I don't remember anything from this movie, honestly.
Borrow it if you want. I mean, you don't like it, so you don't have to.
I'm sure I would love it, but I mean,
it's not your Ninja Turtles.
It's not my. These aren't my Ninja Turtles.
I get it.
So, yeah, they're just. It's fine. I remember thinking it was cool. I remember playing the game on PlayStation 2.
That's a good game.
More than the actual movie itself.
Yeah. Okay. Also, Raphael is like a vigilante in the night because in this movie the Ninja Turtles are like broken up, and Raphael has like an Iron Man suit kind of, and he's got a motorcycle that's really rad.
Have you watched any of the Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Is that the
new
newest
show?
one?
Mm-hmm. Where now Raph is the leader, not Leo.
Yeah.
Don't necessarily agree with that, but that's another conversation for another day. I've heard. I haven't gotten to really watch the show. I've watched clips of it. I've heard it's excellent though. I've heard it's a really great adaptation of. And I mean, even the animated show that was just on a couple years ago was bad. Good. Yeah. Which was similar in style to this movie.
You know what really excites me though? The new Ninja Turtles that Seth Rogen is producing.
Yeah.
That's my stuff.
Yeah, because we can all agree that the Megan Fox Ninja Turtles movies did not hit it. Johnny Knoxville, voice of Leonardo, that's crazy.
It's insane.
That's insane.
What's more, it's definitely Megan Fox's April O'Neil. That's definitely the most crazy part.
The one, there's a fix to that, and it's Megan Fox.
Yeah.
There's a fix to those movies, and also I think Arrow playing Casey Jones was bad
Might
casting
be worse
as well.
than Megan Fox.
It was just bad casting.
Yeah.
The best character. Tyler Perry did great as Baxter Stockman.
Not bad at all.
Will Arnett's character was really funny in the movies and cool. It was Megan Fox, and it was what's Arrow's name? Is it Will something?
I don't remember. I've never even
I'll just call him, Arrow, Oliver Queen.
Sure.
But he played, and he just wasn't a good. You couldn't
really,
beat
really
that.
bad.
The original
really
Casey Jones in the original movie was
no way.
oh, he's just
No
the
way.
best.
He could still play him.
Oh yeah, give it to him.
He's even got a buzz cut now. I've seen him in a movie recently. He's got a buzz cut. I'm like, bro, you could still do it. Slap a hockey mask on.
Oh yeah.
Get your wife beater back on.
Man.
Let's go.
Totally.
And I really liked Raphael in those movies, in the Michael Bay movies. I didn't think he was bad at all.
Yeah.
I liked his.
I don't know that actor's name either, but I do know that he played Aquaman in Smallville.
Oh,
I do know that.
Yeah.
You had Oliver Queen and Aquaman and Johnny Knoxville. Johnny Knoxville didn't come back for the second movie.
One. No.
And I'm pretty sure there was some weird beef in the first movie. The actor who played Leonardo, the motion capture, thought that his voice was going to be Leonardo, and then they
all the turtles had horrible, terrible beef with the production and everything for the movie.
Wow.
I watched an interview with the guy who mocapped and voiced Raphael. I think only Johnny Knoxville didn't do the mocap.
He was the only one.
But the guy who voiced Raphael and did the mocap, he's been in a ton of other stuff, like Smallville. He was in.
Mm-hmm.
He's look him up.
He's around.
You know him.
He's around.
You've seen him for sure.
Yeah.
But he was talking about how they treated them horribly,
which is so crazy.
He got the call from his agent saying hey, they want you to be Raphael in this new Ninja Turtle movie. He said, I don't know, my face won't be in it. People might not it might not be a good career move for me, is what I'm saying. And then the agent was like, yeah, totally. I'll understand. I'll talk to him. And then they met with them personally, and apparently, they promised them that they'd be side by side with Will Arnett and Megan Fox, they'd be the face of the Ninja Turtles, and that they would be known as the Ninja Turtles, which isn't a bad thing at all.
No
be
way,
known for.
Absolutely.
I don't know his name.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't know anybody but Johnny Knoxville.
What's crazy is that
and they didn't let them walk the red carpet for the movies. They didn't even invite them for the premieres.
Is that true?
Yes, he was on a radio talk show, and he was talking about it and all the ways that they wronged him, and it was mind-blowing. Will Arnett and Megan Fox were the face of that movie. And
Will Arnett. Did you say Megan Fox and Will Arnett?
Yeah, and whoever played Casey Jones.
That's crazy.
Yeah, mind-blowing.
Alan Richson. Alan Richson is his name. The cat, apart from, I don't know, I can't speak for the guy who played Leonardo because they recast him for some reason.
Yeah.
But Jeremy Howard, who played Donatello, Noel Fisher, who played Michelangelo, and Alan Ritchson, who played Raphael, were all excellent.
All
in those
great.
movies.
The turtles weren't bad at all.
They were
the
excellent.
designs were a little
The
weird.
designs were wonky, but I could
not
kind of get
them.
over it.
Yeah, not them.
But their acting and like their approach to the characters was spot on. Excellent.
Yeah, totally.
The thing that ruined the movies is Michael Bay's hand in the pot and Megan Fox's April O'Neil, hands down.
Yeah.
I could even live with Arrow being Casey Jones if Anna Kendrick was playing April O'Neil.
I mean, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like someone who's got a little bit more like
Personality
likability.
rather than, yeah. There
Like-
are a couple things that Megan Fox hasn't been like bad in. I feel bad for her because I think maybe she could have been pretty good if she like.
No,
But the only thing is,
no,
like,
she's not a bad
she's-
actress, but
yeah.
she's only hired in things because
She's really pretty.
a pretty person,
Yeah,
and that's not enough,
it's not.
especially for a franchise that people are going to not see Megan Fox anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
Transformers was one thing because those were all like teenage boys, and it's
Right.
like, oh, nice, Megan Fox
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
But like this Ninja
With the
Turtles
Ninja
movie
Turtles.
was like kids and then
Yeah.
adults who wanted to see a cool Ninja Turtles movie
Yeah.
who didn't give a rip about Megan Fox.
Yeah.
And oh man,
Yeah,
I think
we'll
she
get a
ruined the
good one.
movie.
We'll get a good live action one eventually.
So yeah, and I mean, Seth Rogen's approach to the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is he's approaching it as like a teenage coming of age. You know, he said in an interview that his focus on the new movie is to focus on the teenage part of the Ninja Turtles and to
Yeah.
make them
I mean,
young
If
teenagers.
you think about it,
We've never seen that, really.
never, except for maybe the original cartoon. The early 2000s cartoon I grew up on, they were all definitely
all-
way more mature than
Teenagers are.
The original one, they were probably more like 17, 18.
Yeah.
The original movie, like the 90s movie, what do you think? What would
The
what was
original 90s movie, they were like, you know, they had moments where it was just like their age was just ambiguous. Like they had
Yeah.
moments where they're eating junk food and pizza and like, but some of the characters, like they made Raph and Leo very much not seem like teenagers.
Yeah.
And then characters like Michelangelo very much
Yeah.
seem like a teenager.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see Seth
Yeah.
Rogen's approach. Seth Rogen, like at first glance, doesn't seem like a good choice to be a showrunner or a forefront member
about
of
what he's
making
had
a
his hand
Ninja
in,
Turtles.
though.
But that's what I'm saying is when you take a deeper look at him, he's actually a great choice,
Totally.
especially if he approaches it with the, you know, like with the same heart that even how he learned, like what he learned from Judd Apatow and Freaks and
Yes.
Geeks, you know,
Yes.
like that would be a cool vibe. And I'm
I
excited
trust
for
I
it.
trust Seth Rogen to make an adaptation to anything. Like
Except for Green Hornet.
I don't care about the original Green Hornet, so I
It wasn't great.
stand behind Green Hornet, man. I stand behind it. I haven't
Uh.
watched it in years, but I don't think I ever will again because I have nothing
No.
but good memories about it.
Well, and finally, let's talk about personal most rewatchable movies.
do
These
it.
are just movies that we could watch any day, anytime, year round. You know, like I said, I stay like I could pretty much watch like a spooky movie year round. I
Totally.
could watch a Harry Potter movie year round. I could watch Beetlejuice year round. I could watch Edward Scissorhands year round. Like Burton-esque movies.
Yeah.
I love that. And then year round for me, I think I have my year round picks seem to circle a lot around directors as well. Like I could watch Wes Anderson year round.
Yeah.
I didn't say in
To
like
me-
rainy day
to
movies,
me,
like
Wes
a rainy
Anderson
day
is
movie.
a fall vibe. Just to me personally.
Yeah, and I didn't say in rainy day movies like Fantastic Mr. Fox, absolutely
Yeah.
a fall rainy day movie. Moonrise Kingdom, maybe a summer rainy day movie.
I think
Kingdom.
Moonrise would be summer.
But
Grand Budapest is winter
but I could
for
watch
me.
those movies year round. The Darjeeling Limited, Life
Oh, yeah.
Aquatic. I could watch those movies year
Yeah.
round. Personal rewatchable movies year round end up just being my favorite movies. It's Empire, Raiders,
Yeah.
The Goonies,
Yeah.
Back to the Future. Those are year round movies.
Just get those out of the way.
Pulp
'cause they're-
Fiction is
they're
a
on
year round
everybody's list.
movie.
Yeah.
The Shining was on my year round movie.
Okay. To me, it's got to
Iron
be
Giant.
at least a little bit chilly or a little bit rainy for me personally to watch.
Yeah,
this.
I could watch The Shining year round, man.
Totally get it. Totally get it.
A new addition for the both of us to year round movies is Jojo Rabbit. I
No
think,
doubt. Any day.
no doubt, I could watch that.
Any day of the week.
Honestly, I mean, I had it in the rainy day, but Scott Pilgrim could be any day
Any
for
day of the
me
week.
because
Yeah,
that movie's
totally.
a masterpiece.
Yeah.
It just
It's
is.
it's the movie that inspires me like the most to go out and make something. You know?
Totally.
Like there are certain movies.
Any
where,
Edgar Wright movie, really,
I mean, really, any Edgar Wright movie,
but
the
that
way,
movie
like,
specifically.
literally any scene in Scott Pilgrim has had like so much attention to detail and love and
Also, I
everything
think
poured out
generally
into
the
it.
cool thing about Scott Pilgrim, and I can't speak for you, but I'm sure you have a similar. It speaks to every general interest that I have and you have, whether that be music,
yeah,
with Sex Bomb, whether that be video games with just the general aesthetic, whether that be action movies, whether that be just good filmmaking in general,
comic books and
or comic books,
it's all on it.
It literally hits every interest on the head for me
Yeah.
personally, and that's why it's like it looks like us in a weird way.
It does.
If that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
if a movie could look like a person or a person's personality,
Yeah,
I think for the both of us, really, like
yeah.
in a
totally.
way, a movie like Scott Pilgrim versus the World
Yeah.
looks like our personalities as far as
man,
it general
Yeah,
as who
absolutely.
we are in a weird way. That's such a weird
it's
way
a weird
to
thing
compare
to say.
it. But
It is.
the
But
reason for the both of us, I think that we love it so much is because it's like all of the things that we love encompassed, not just from a general interest, but from a cinematic interest.
creativity and
Absolutely.
like, all of it. It all like encompasses. it.
Yeah.
Like
And-
from the very first, like the opening. I not the opening scene, but the
1,
title.
2, 3, 4,
Like,
and then
when
like
she
the-
says, "We are a sex bomb,"
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
then it just like it gets
yeah,
really
yeah.
long,
Yeah.
and then it goes down as like Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Totally.
Man,
It's the
that's
best.
what I'm like.
It's the
It doesn't
best.
matter what kind of good day, bad day, sad day.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if you just showed me that opening like title sequence, whenever the hallway gets really or the room gets really long into a hallway,
Absolutely.
and that's it.
It's
Game
great.
over. It's a good day.
It's a good day.
Yeah. So that one's obviously.
Oh
up
man,
there.
that's
But
like the
to me-
top recommended movie.
It's got to be. I think it's my number 2. I've started to keep track. I told you this right before the show,
Mhm.
but I started to keep track of all my favorite movies. So I can't
Mhm.
just like when a movie comes up in conversation, I can't just say, "Oh, it's one of my favorite movies,"
Mhm.
because now I can like look down and be like, "Oh, it's actually not," or "It is actually better than this movie," and it'll
Yeah.
update.
Sure.
What's
What's your number 1?
It's The Big Lebowski,
Right.
and it's I don't know what it is about that movie.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't grow up on it or anything, but man, it's just the conversations that they have.
Mm-hmm.
And like them just sitting in a bowling alley and just talking, or
Yeah.
them like spreading an ashes of somebody and just,
Right.
like, blowing in somebody's face. It's,
Yeah.
Every single joke in that movie lands. Every single conversation is interesting.
Yeah.
Every single story beat is interesting.
Totally.
There's nothing about that movie where I'm like, I could skip this scene.
Totally.
I don't know what it is about it, but everything about that movie just like it gets me good. And it was really cool because sometimes movie theaters show throwback movies, and it was well before we had the podcast, but we
Mhm.
went to go see it together.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Absolutely.
I don't know what
It was awesome.
I don't know. I honestly don't know what it is about The Big Lebowski that I love so much, but it's
Mhm.
just it gets me every time.
Yeah.
But straight behind it is
Uh-huh.
Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah.
Straight behind it for very
Totally.
different reasons.
Totally.
Yeah. What's your next one?
I mean, I kind of named off. I just kind of rapid fire named off all of my
The
top
only other
ones.
2 I could watch like any week out of the year is The Nice Guys with Russell Crowe and Ryan
Mm-hmm.
Gosling, because it's just a fun like mystery movie
Yeah.
in a way. It's just a fun movie, and
Yeah.
it's very well made, incredible acting. And then my second one is Get Out. I could
Yeah.
watch Get Out any day of the year.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah, I don't. Again, like none of these
Those are like the
movies kinda
honorable mentions
Yeah.
of sorts, you know?
Yeah, none of these movies kind of fit together, but they like
No.
to me. It's always just like Star Wars, Big Lebowski, Scott Pilgrim, Get Out, The Nice Guys. Those are like
Yeah.
they're always rattling around in my DVD players, you know.
Yeah,
Blu-ray
yeah,
players.
totally.
It's hard to make movies that it's hard to make lists with movies that there's just so many movies out there.
There's so many, and like it feels like it's just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah,
you know,
and that's why I like talking about this, because there are movies that we both love that we just don't really talk about,
and there are movies
that we haven't talked about yet, at least.
Yeah, and there are movies that that will continue to come to mind after the fact that I'd be like, oh, I should have talked about that many.
Yeah, like this whole time I've been talking about movies, and like Prisoners is like Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal have been just staring at me the whole time.
Right.
It's a good movie.
It is a good movie.
I don't know where it falls, but I'll watch it.
Yeah.
Sure. You want to watch it
Absolutely.
after this?
Prisoners? Yeah, let's watch it. Let's do it.
It's sad.
But I'm saying there I guess we would have to narrow it down to like genre and then like start just going, because then you could like a great sick day movie, Spider-Man 2. It's a great sick day movie.
Totally.
Great sick day movie, Spider-Man 2. Or just
Any
Winter
Spider-Man.
Soldier. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Or the first Iron Man. Like the good
Hey,
Marvel
man.
movies. The first Iron Man's year round, I think.
Maybe just any movie. Because
Maybe
now
any movie.
you just like, we're just widening it, and I'm like, maybe any Spider-Man movie will do. Maybe any Marvel movie would do.
Well, not any. Well, yeah. But see, there's some sick day. Like there's some Marvel movies that I wouldn't watch on a sick day. And then there's some that I would. Like, I don't think I would watch Winter Soldier on a sick day.
No, I wouldn't.
Maybe not even a rainy day. That's just a good movie. Those don't fall in. Spider-Man 2, absolutely sick day for me, I'd say. Ant-Man, that's a sick day movie.
That's it.
But like like if you're wanting to just
That's on
have
my
fun.
upswing day. That's all I'm saying.
Ant-Man's a good upswing day movie.
Yeah. Remember when that guy punched the horse in the face? Maybe we should watch Blazing Saddles. I've never seen it.
You've never seen dude, Blazing Saddles is funny. Blazing Saddles is very offensive.
Oh, is
even by like 2020. Like Blazing Saddles came out in like the 70s, I think, and it was offensive then, and it's still offensive.
I need to watch it.
Like the dude punched a horse in the face. That's not even a fragment of the offensive stuff in that movie.
I would love to see it. I need to see it now.
Oh man, you buying the Blu-ray?
I'm sorry, Sydney.
Braden, you need help.
Man, that buy now button is dangerous.
I won't tell.
I'm sorry, Sydney.
Did you buy it? We should watch it next week.
We
after
should watch it.
record
Yeah,
the
we should
podcast.
make a commentary on it.
We should watch it. That movie's good. I don't know. Yeah, that movie's good. So many good movies, so little time.
So little time.
I just look up at this wall and I'm like, oh yeah, Baby Driver.
Oh, what? We didn't
What
even
was
say
that
anything
movie?
about that movie. Oh,
That's
man.
so funny. Mission Impossible 2.
Ooh.
Mission Impossible 2 is like
It's good for, like, I would love to
For
make
the
a
time.
commentary
Yeah,
on
for
that
the
one.
time.
On that one specifically.
That one is
like, Mission
great.
Impossible, it's good.
Mission Impossible 2 is the one where he does the jump
Yeah. Oh, I know. And it's
and
also
where he's holding on the rock
it's
at the
also
beginning.
whenever
Ethan
two guys jump off the motorcycles, and then tackle each other midair.
Oh yeah,
Mission Impossible 2. Let's watch
That's a
it.
good one.
Remember whenever he
Oh, boy.
puts the glasses on and he watches the thing, and he throws his glasses at the camera.
Yep.
Mission Impossible.
Mission
2.
Impossible 2 is the crown jewel of the Mission Impossible
It
franchise.
might be. Is it Henry Cavill and Tom Cruise throwing a guy through a bathroom mirror? Nope.
No, but that mustache Henry Cavill had, and also the one part in that scene where Henry Cavill does the thing with his arms, like
He cocks his
where
arms.
he cocks his arms.
He loads
Oh.
and cocks his arms, and he's like, "All right,
oh man,
locked and loaded." Yeah,
That's just bad to the bone.
dang. We should
Henry
watch.
Cavill-
You know what we should do? We should rewatch all the Mission Impossible movies and then
God.
just go through them,
Oh,
because that
God.
sounds like a great week. Like Mission Impossible 1's okay.
It's okay. Mission
It's like
Impossible 2 is cut from a different cloth.
It is
That
from
movie's wild.
every other one of them.
Absolutely.
Mission Impossible 3 is where the series actually gets good.
It starts turning into like an action franchise.
Right. and then Ghost Protocol rules.
Yeah.
And then I don't remember the one after that.
But I'm saying Mission Impossible 2
there-
is just buck wild.
Oh yeah, Mission Impossible 2 is ridiculous. Like we could do an episode on 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, but we could do a whole episode on
Just
Mission
on Mission
2.
Impossible 2. Absolutely.
That would be fun.
That movie's
I don't
wild.
even remember Rogue Nation. I don't even remember that one. But Ghost Protocol and Fallout are just really, really, really good action movies.
Mhm.
But Mission Impossible 2, man.
Mm-hmm.
Mission Impossible 2.
And that's the one where he has the knife and it's like right above his eye.
Yeah.
Remember when he gets on top of him?
So most of the times, whenever like a stuntman is trying to stab into a guy's like face with a knife,
Mhm.
anything like that, the stuntman, or sorry, like whoever's trying to stab will actually try to pull away. Like they're trying to pull away, and then the actor is actually trying to pull them to.
Uh-huh.
So that way, if they slip, the knife will go away from the actor rather than plunge into him.
Yeah, yeah.
But in that movie, whenever the knife is like that far away from his face,
I'm sure you love that.
oh yeah, it's so great, right down my alley.
Yep.
I don't like eye stuff, by the way. It's on a string, and they're actually like putting their full weight behind that
And
knife.
it's just being pulled like
it's on
the
a string
tension
that's
of a string
taut.
is holding it from
and
his
then,
eye.
Yeah, and then like this.
That's just stupid.
Isn't that so dumb? Why would you do that?
What are your thoughts on that scene in Minority Report when he pulls his eye, gets his eyes pulled out?
I mean, like, just burn that movie, right? I mean, just like delete it from IMDb. Like, get it out of here.
Minority Report's pretty good.
It's not bad.
Well, that's all the time we have for this episode of Podzilla. Thank you so much for joining us. If you want to win this poster that's in between us, send us an email at thepodzillashow@gmail.com and give us a topic to talk about, ask us a question, give us something to throw into the show. We'll give you a shout out on the show, and we will send you one of these posters for free while supplies last. You can also follow us on Instagram at thepodzilla show. And you can just keep up with when we post things. We do random polls on our story, just a bunch of stuff. So, yeah, give us a follow on there as well.
Totally. Yeah. And if you want to follow us up personally, did you already say that? You want to
No.
follow us personally? If
No.
you want to follow us personally, you can follow me at Tonus Braden.
You can follow me at the David Smith Jr.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And until next time.
Until next time, go watch this TMNT.
Or don't.
Or
It
don't.
might not be good. I haven't watched it in a while.
Great.